Now, as Nigeria battles with floods, there's another concern about man-made disasters. Over the weekend, a fuel tanker collided with another truck in Niger State, causing an explosion that killed more than 50 people. Now, it's the latest in a series of accidents involving petrol tankers in recent years. In the absence of an efficient railway system to complement cargo transportation, fatal truck accidents are common along major roads. In 2020 alone, there were over 1,500 gasoline tanker crashes, resulting in 535 fatalities and 1,100 injuries. Experts say the main causes are reckless driving, poor road conditions, and poorly maintained vehicles. Let's bring in Olusegun Ogungbemide, who is the Public Education Officer at the Federal Road Safety Corps. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, I mean, these are alarming figures. To think that this is just these figures that I just ruled out,
okay,
applied to only just 2020. In the last 3 days, there have been real terrible tanker crashes. The Niger State incident, was cause for worry, and that's why we have to call you here, invite you here to ask you exactly what is going on. What's causing this level of carnage on our roads?
Thank you. Let me first get the narrative right.
Right.
The incident that happened at Lapai, Bida Road, was not a collision. It was a truck, just trying to make a faster trip beside a burning tanker, and it's the spillage that really, spilled over to the part of the truck.
Wow.
And there was this inferno that claimed so many lives. I always feel uncomfortable when we have reason to say there are incessant crashes and inferno as a result of tanker movement. If you look at the number of tankers we have all over the Federation, moving from Lagos to every part of the country, is quite huge. And when you look at the enormity of the demands for this product and the movement, you know that Federal Road Safety Corps has really played a major role in really reducing the rate of crashes involving trucks. It used to be quite worse in the past before we brought in policies to actually manage the situation.
Do you have figures to show us, to say, look, this is how it used to be, say, take any random year, in 2016 compared to today?
Yes, I would rather place it on percentage.
All right.
You
Sure.
understand? I will place it on percentage. Prior to the introduction of Safe to Load, which is a policy that was put in place when we started having this incessant rate of crashes involving tankers that leads to inferno, we have succeeded in reducing the rate of crashes by more than 60%.
When did this come into effect? This new
the Safe to Load Safe to Load came into effect about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Prior to that time, we had what we call road safety transportation standardization scheme, which was to regulate haulage movements in Nigeria. That one came into effect in 2017. And the essence of it was that we were having unregulated source of movement in transportation sector. And we were having crashes all over the places. And we decided to say, let us regulate them. Let us put them under an umbrella and give them rules and policies for them to abide with. And it's really assisted. So
yeah, apart from putting these rules in place, sorry,
yes.
I need to, because we have to maximize the time. Apart from that, in your research, in your findings,
yes, over
time, what would you say is the common thread that's run through in terms of the factors contributing to these tanker crashes?
Yes, I would rather attribute most of the causes to human factor. Because when you look at, I used to make reference to a particular major oil marketer that has more than 1,000 tankers plying the entire Federation. And in the last 6 years, they can confirmed that they've not recorded a single crash. And what are the factors that led to this achievement? One, most of the trucks that are brought into the country are new trucks. They are not trucks that have spent their time outside the countries before bringing them. Secondly, there's training and retraining of their drivers annually, which is an indication that they have proficiency process for their drivers. Every year they train them on what is expected of a driver. And thirdly, they have a welfare package that manages the welfare of their drivers.
Right.
If you get to any destination at 7, you must not proceed. You have to go and rest. There's provision for them to rest. Most of these crashes you see happening all over the places happen in the late hours of the day, not even during the day. And that's the major problem we're actually having. We've been going about giving the advocacy that there must be movement, there must not be movement during the night so that we can reduce the level of casualties. If that tanker had been the only one that got involved in that crash at night, the content will have gone away without any casualty. Right. But because we had a mixed loading, more than 50 passengers inside the truck, because we had this heat on them by virtue of the work of the task force that we have during the day, that curtail the movement of all these misloading trucks.
Let's talk about this task force. How effective really in terms of actually enforcing the laws, the rules? I mean, you come up with these rules and what have you. But in terms of enforcement, there seems to be a huge gap.
We don't have any problem because they operate during the day. And at night,
the vehicles, the tankers that ply the roads during the day.
Yes.
Are you saying they're always in good 100% condition?
I'm not even talking about the condition of the vehicle now.
But that's a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a factor.
Right.
But the major problem we have is that because they are mixed loading, we have casualties when there are crashes.
Right.
One thing that is certain all over the world, crashes must occur. But we are trying to reduce fatal crashes, losing of men in the course of crashes. That is why we have the safe system approach. So the essence of having the task force in place is that anywhere these trucks were met, they disload all their passengers.
Okay.
And make sure that an average number of people that are expected to go with a truck is just 6 to attend to the livestock they are carrying.
For any road safety official on the highways, because we see them, I mean, I'm a road traveler. I love to travel by road. We see road safety here and there. What exactly do they look out for to say, look, this vehicle, the tankers specifically, is in good condition, it can go on its trip? Do you check, do you have facilities to check the drivers themselves, which in some cases we have, even underage. And some of them are on drugs, they are on alcohol. There was a ban on sachet alcohol. Of course, there was a lot of backlash on that. What are the things you look out for?
We know there could be issues and challenges trailing all these vehicles along the highway. That's why we introduced the safe to load. At the point of loading, naturally all of them will load at the depot. We have our operatives there. One, if you are an underage, you cannot load. Secondly, if you don't have your driver's license, you are not qualified to load. Then, if you are under the influence of drug, you are not going to be loaded. And fourthly, if your vehicle is not in good condition, we have the lighting system, we have the hazards, we have the tires, we have, every component of the vehicle. There are facilities to check all these items at the loading point. The boys are already trained to be able to certify that, this vehicle is fit for loading. And this effort is what has assisted in reducing the rate of road traffic crashes involving these trucks.
There was a time you introduced a speed limiting device.
Sure.
Is that still?
That's part of it. That as a truck, you are not expected, the calibration of your speed limit device is regulated in line with what the highway code says.
Right. We'll have to leave it there. Olusegun Ogungbemide, Core Public Education Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps. Thank you very much for joining us. Amazing.